What's up? What's up? What's up? Good to see everybody back. Um, yeah. So let's get this started. First, let's start off with it is what everybody would love to ask about is this whole storm that happened. It wasn't something that we wanted to happen at this point. We're focused on the present. We're focused on now. We're focused on, trying to get this ship moving in the right direction. And I think so far that's what we've been doing. But for this to come out, it's been a distraction. So coming up here and talking about it and addressing it is important today. And so that's what we're here to do. Next is all that went down, all that was said. Yeah, I had a good visit at the other place, Minnesota, with Ken O'Connell, good staff and all of that. Obviously. He just won Coach of the Year award and things like that. So obviously good staff and things like that. But something that keeps getting lost, something that keeps getting, I think, not being addressed the way it needs to be, is the fact that, I went on that visit first, came here, and then after I came here, I went back home, talked to my dad, and, all of the things that were supposed to be these big things that everybody's been talking about recently. One never happened in the sense of they were all thoughts. They were all ideas. And I think if you're in the situation, I think if your son or daughter, anybody is in a situation to be in that position, I think you think about all of the options and, and you look at it, the history and the facts and all these different things. And those are thoughts that go throughout your head in those situations. So, all of those were thoughts. And then after I came on my visit here, it was a deliberate answer and deliberate and determined answer that I had, is that I wanted to come here. And just like Ben spoke about, obviously, the past years, as everybody knows, it's a fact that quarterback play, there hasn't been a 4,000-yard passer. There's, all these different things that come up. And so, being able to have those thoughts is I think, fair to be able to have, good and bad thoughts. But like I said, I came here on a visit. And like I said, just like Ben said, it's a challenge to be able to come in here and try and turn around. And that was the main goal of all of that, is to, through all of, what was, going on, through all of what happened in last year and previous years, I think that was enticing. I think that was something that was glaring to me, that I wanted to come here and be the guy and be a part and be a reason on why Chicago Bears turn this thing around. So that last thing that was said and all of that, I think, was the most important thing, is that I wanted to be here, that I love being here, I love my teammates, I love all the people that got me here, family, friends, Ryan, Kevin, Floos and Shane, all those guys that went through all of that process with me to get me here. But it was all those things, like I said, were thoughts. But the main goal and the main objective of being here is to turn around. That's why I was selected number one. And so, that's what we're here to do. That's what they brought me here to do. That's what they brought all these guys here to do. Joe, DJ, all these different guys. And that's why they brought Ben here. And so, like I said, it's a challenge. And we look at those challenges and, we don't laugh. We look at them really, really seriously. And, we go attack them, to the best of our ability to go and change it and turn it around. So, yeah.
Caleb, last year, by December 1st, the offensive coordinator had been fired. The head coach had been fired. Did you sit there and have any thought that I saw this coming? I knew the challenge.
No, I think obviously, you look at it and the challenge. First year guy, new coach, offense coordinator, and then new coach for me, new situation, knew all these different things. So wasn't at a point where I looked at it and was like, I knew this would happen. Nobody, I think, would sit back and especially after you go, 4-2 in the first, 6 weeks. You don't sit back and wonder and ponder on, the bad. You face it when the bad comes, and, that's what we did.
With some of the concerns you had before the draft about this organization, some of them would seem to be justified when you go through a year like you did your rookie year. How do you get yourself in a headspace now where you trust that you're in good hands going forward?
Yeah, I have the one. I have the utmost respect, and there's things that I've done throughout my years of training and learning and working hard and things like that. And this past year was a bump. There was good, bad, and indifferent. And so being able to look at that and understand that I still threw 6 picks in the National Football League, and I had 3,500 total or something like that or whatever it was, and 20 touchdowns, and that's not where I want to be. That's not where I'm going to be. But it's a step in the right direction. Like I said, there was some good, bad, and indifferent, and you got to look at those things. You got to understand that all the good, all the bad, and all the indifferent is going to be good for me, in many years to come. And so, I think that's how I look at it. I still have all the confidence in myself. I think my teammates, believe in me. I think that's shown on game day, and I think how much I love and care for those guys and want to go win. I think it shows up on game day. So.
What about the new leadership under Ben has left an impression on you?
Yeah, no, Ben's. I think y'all have been able to see it when he gets up here. You get a little taste of how he is. He's always laser focused. He encourages. And he pushes you and challenges you to be at your best. As a team, offense, defense, special teams, doesn't matter position. He's sharp, and he's a guy that wants to win. And so, being here, being the head guy, and to be honest, he's consistent with it every day. So, excuse me. So him being here and being the head guy and doing all of those things and being consistent with it, so far it's been awesome, and I think everybody's been enjoying.
You just said that you didn't want this to come out at this time, but some of these things were said on the record. Did you and your camp, did you think it was like more useful for the time period when you did have the reservations before you came in and had the meeting and decided this was cool? Was that something, those conversations that were on the record, did you think maybe this is more useful for that time period when you were considering some other options or at least trying to create some different avenues?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say there was times of it being more useful. I think at that time of all the things that were going down, and where we're at now, many weeks in, new coaches, many weeks in, we're on this freight train and, starting to pick up speed, and, it's a lot of learning, a lot of things going on. I think the timing of it, it's not ideal, but, we're here, it happened, and we learned from it. I think it's an experience for myself and obviously for everybody else, that we're focused on now, present day, and we're not here to talk about the past and discuss the past anymore.
On that topic, though,
Are you watching film now as opposed to?
Yeah, that was a funny one that came out. It wasn't that I didn't know how to watch film. It was more or less the sense of learning shortcuts, in the sense of, or not learning shortcuts, but learning ways to watch film and be more efficient, learning ways to pick up things better. And so that was a funny one that came out, that in context and how I was trying to portray it, didn't get portrayed that way. So it wasn't that I didn't know how to watch film. It was trying to figure out the best ways and more efficient ways so I can watch more film, I can gather more information, so that when I do go out there on game day, that it's that information that I gathered through Monday, when we got back, all the way up to whatever day the game day is. So when I get out there, I can gather it, I see it, I can react, and it's not me sitting there thinking so much about, the rules and these different things. It's more of a reaction game at that point in muscle memory. So
To that end, what has Ben taught you about those shortcuts, or just things that maybe he sees that he wants you to start seeing?
like I said, I think Ben has been extremely detailed, and so when he talks about the plays, when he talks about the pass, run, screen, play action, he talks about them really in depth. And what we love them versus and what we don't love them versus and things like that, and just have an idea going into practice, going into soon game days and things like that. It's gonna be nice for something that we've been repping and getting after, and I think that's been one of the things that's been really awesome, is the detail, and him really being on top of that. And I mean, he's been in it for 6 years. It's been his offense for 6 years. So he's really on top of it, and we're only trying to catch up. I'm only trying to catch up to him and be on the top of the details as much as possible.
Caleb, when it comes to the timing of the book, I believe it comes
Book?
out, with the book.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I believe it comes out the day after the opener against
Yep.
the Vikings. Are you worried that it's going to be a distraction again?
No.
Or are you confident that most of this is already out there?
That's why I came up here today to address this, and actually speak on some of the things that were at this moment out of context, and also some of the things that I want to clarify, like what we just spoke about in the watching film and things like that. Obviously, my information that I know now was not the same as last year, whether it's fronts, defenses, blitzes, whether it's offense and things like that. And that's something that over the years and over time, speaking on it like Case, he comes in here and he's been in many different offenses and things like that, many different, teams and all of this. So when he comes in here and he hears something, it may be a different name, but it's the same exact thing. So that sort of thing is kind of, on a steady trend longer that I play.
Caleb,
Did
Caleb,
you feel that when the excerpt came out, did you feel like you had to talk to people in the organization, whether it was Ryan or Kevin or George or Ben or teammates? Did you feel like you had to, like the way you're kind of talking to us a little bit right now, did you feel like you had to do that in the building?
No, I think my guys. Obviously, we spoke about it just because it's something that came out, and it was this huge out of the blue kind of thing that popped up, and so we spoke about it with like Ryan and Ted and all these different people just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Actually, what wanted to be said and put out and things like that, and that's why we're also here today addressing it to make sure everything's cleared up and clarified.
Caleb, does your dad speak for you?
No. I actually shut my dad down quite a bit. He has ideas. He's a smart man, and so I listen, and I always listen. I'm very fortunate to be in this position in the sense of playing QB, but also very fortunate to have a very strong-minded father, and so. We talk very often. It's like my mom and my dad are my best friends, and so being able to have conversations with them to understand that everything they say also is portrayed on me. So I think that's the part of it. But other than that, no. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm very fortunate to have a father that's super strong minded, that's always there, always wants the best for his kid. And I think any of y'all that has a kid or anything like that, a niece or nephew that you love so dearly, they try and help and you try and help and put them in positions that the best position that you can. So that's all he tries to do. But no, definitely a grown man, and I shut him down quite a lot, just because in season, out of season, something that you have to do. He cares so much about me and my future, and we've been along this journey so long together that all he wants is the best for me. And so if anything happens, he's super high-headed, and it's more of like, all right, like go ahead and go away, reset and things like that. So love him to death, and things like that. And like I said, super fortunate to have him. But we have talks about it, understanding that it's a right place and a right time, and then there's times where it's not.
Caleb,
what else is in the chapter? I'm curious what that chapter is going to look like.
Nah, I honestly don't care. It's not, like I said, we're all of those things were in the past. All of the things happen already. And so we're here focused on the future. We're here focused on the present. And really trying to, like I said, get this train going and have this thing picking up steam, and choo-chooing along.
Taylor, with that being said, when the past is the past, you're here now. Ben Johnson has made some tweaks to your game. How have you adjusted to the change in the stance? How have you adjusted to being under center a little bit more?
I guess the Ben Johnson effect, right?
I
guess the Ben Johnson effect, right? He's gonna get a kick out of that when he hears it. I think part of it is just different coaches have different philosophies for things, and that's one of his things is left foot up. I've been a right foot up guy for typically all of my career, and I think I've done it once or twice throughout my time of playing QB. So it's just one of his things. And then, like I said, the details, being on top of it, huddle, we call it PSP, but pre-snap procedure, all these different things matter, and especially in big games and big moments, all the little things come up. And so I think that's important to him, and it's important to us, and we gotta get on top of it and be on top of it from the head down. So like I said, the Ben Johnson effect, I guess, right? Awesome. Thank you, everybody. The Bears.